lord. I think we're here. I think we're on, Lathaz.
Let's go.
Don't know what you can and can't hear, but I got you loud and clear. It took a very long time. A lot of troubleshooting to get here, I think. To put it lightly.
Look, we're better for it, right? We'll know for next time.
Alright, I need to know from anyone if anything's too loud or quiet. Especially Lathaz's voice. If you want that muted, just let me know. ASAP, I guess.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
We have some people in here. There's not a huge assimilation of people, but I also think that it was 50-50 as to whether it even happened or not, especially at this time of night. So I think we're happy with what we got, and we're here to talk about keeper leagues, draft leagues, something that Dr. Supercoach has never done before. And I got someone who's not from Dr. Supercoach until now, Mr. Lathaz. Do you want to? I don't know. What should we go through first? Do you want to put out a bit of a resume for yourself, or why should people be listening to you?
I mean, I love Supercoach and I love keeper leagues.
Oh,
and
sold.
I suppose you're a decent bloke, so that's kind of the trifecta, isn't it?
Two truths and one lie. You guys figure it out. Yeah, no, that helps. I guess you and I are very passionate about this. We talk about this a lot, pre-season, off-season, during season. So it's it eventually became something that we talked about enough that we both thought, we've got enough vested interest, and we don't really see a lot of this stuff in the Supercoach space. Keeper league discussions, draft league discussions. Who should be targeting on your waiver wires, who should be looking at to pick up for your keeper leagues, your dynasty leagues, how to set up your leagues, etc. So I think there's a lot of it happening, but not a lot of it being spoken about or advised on, sort of thing. So I think there's a bit.
We both also like. I mean, you can speak for yourself more, I guess, but I've found that keeper leagues has been what I've enjoyed more than classic recently.
Yep.
And definitely more than like just a single draft as well. So it got to the point where we were talking all the time about it. We both were getting so excited about talking about keeper leagues.
Yep.
So it just made sense to put that out there. Means I think hopefully there'll be more people that will be involved in keeper leagues as well. I know there's already a few going through Slack. Yeah, just super excited for it.
Oh, look, the more the merrier. I personally think it's the best way to play the game in terms of investment. You're investing in something for a longer, year-on-year period rather than just the 6 months pretty much that the Supercoach season has you occupied for. And a lot of that time in the Supercoach, the actual classic season, you've got a lot of the same players, a lot of cookie cutter teams. You're picking someone from round one and you might carry them through the whole year. Like, that's not something that you put any thought into. Whereas these guys, everyone has a role to play. I think I speak for. I'm in a keeper league with a lot of 9 other Slack members, all very good Supercoach players in their own right. That's why I picked him out, so I could have a bit more of a difficult experience with it instead of just bullying my friends all the time. And I've won that league twice out of four years. So, like, a lot of it is what you do on the waiver wire, what you do on the trade table. So we're hoping people come to this stream and have questions for their league, but also we can just give blanket advice as well, and hopefully no one from my league's listening, because that would hurt my chances of repeating again and again. But
we're turning it on to hard mode for ourselves, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I suppose we do want to go through eventually how to make what our ideal draft setup is. First of all, just shout out in the chat. We've already got people chatting in here. So Commissioner's in there, Bell's in there, WebDog's in there, Tommy G, JV, and of course Duke is in there as well. So a lot of the main lads in Slack, which is awesome.
The reason why we wanted to make it a live stream as well is I think there's so many different ways to play the Keeper League format. Like, you can go for really young guys and try to build over a number of years. You can just try to be perennial, winners or up towards the top as much as possible. You can go old, and I think all of them work well. And you can, if you have a mixture of those people in your league, it means you've got some people that are going for old who are willing to trade future draft picks to the guys who are going for the young guys only and hoping to build through the draft again. And so I think having it as a live stream means that people can ask questions that are a bit more personalized, because I think in Classic, it's a lot of like the same sort of questions, and so you can kind of talk through a podcast and it kind of makes sense. Whereas when you try and do it for a keeper league, you've just got like somebody says, well, I want this guy, and it's like, well, in certain situations maybe that guy isn't best for your team.
It's very tailored.
Actually go for something else.
The advice is very niche, very tailored. Sorry, Eccles, shout out you as well. Sorry, mate, I missed that one. He's abusing me in the chat. Well, on that note, I know we want to talk about how to build a draft, as in how many teams, how we do a lot of the settings and such. I've got a live draft happening right now, and we're up to pick 14. Do you want to maybe just chat with me in regards to some of these first few picks that have gone off the board, and just your general thoughts on them? For anyone who's starting a keeper league draft tonight, tomorrow, in the next couple of days, might be interesting to sort of, because I think like at this point a lot of people are already in their drafts and starting their drafts. If not, the drafting process is probably already started. So if you want to hone on that for a little bit and just discuss between you and I what we think of each of these individual picks. And then we can move.
I've got a draft that started as well. A brand new keeper league has just started a couple minutes ago as well.
Even better. So it's good to get a comparison.
Is this one you're in right now? This is a redraft, right?
No. So this one here's brand new keeper.
Brand new as well.
I'm also in a redraft happening as well, but Gory's holding that one up like a jerk. So we're waiting on a pick there.
We should probably define the redraft thing as well. So if you're not familiar with keeper leagues, basically the idea is that you do just a normal single season draft like you would any other time.
Yep.
But instead of dropping all of the players at the end of the season and starting a brand new league and having to redraft every player again, instead you're holding players to the next season. And so that's where it comes in, like going for the youth if you want to, and hoping that carries on for a few years. But when you have the redraft, basically it depends on how many keepers you have. So you can have what's called a dynasty league, which is where basically you just basically keep your whole list going into the following year.
Yep.
Or you can have some keeper leagues where it's like you can only keep, say, 10 players going into the following season. And so you obviously keep your best 10, or the ones that you think have the highest potential, and then you would redraft everybody else. Because if I dropped 15 players and I kept my 10, everybody's dropped 15, plus there's all the new rookies as well, and guys that have changed teams and all the rest of it, they're now suddenly potential options. So now you're redrafting all of those guys. So I think there's different ways to play it, and we can get more into that side of things later. But when we talk about this redraft happening, like JB's in a redraft where you had to keep 14, is that right?
Yeah, so we kept 14, and then obviously the non-kept players going to a draft pool with obviously all the new draftees and such, or free agents that were signed, etc. So it's generally the top end of that draft is generally a mix between the team who won last year. They probably have to drop a few keepers that people are going to want in the first round, and then you got the brand new draftees that people are going to want in the first round as well. It's generally a mix of those types of players. Or if someone's had like a major role change, like I remember years and years ago, I was in a league where Sicily was playing forward. He averaged 60 points. And then I think the last 2 games of the year he went back and scored big tons. And then I took him in the first round of the keeper league the next year because he wasn't on anyone's list because he was a forward for 90% of the year. Like no one cared. Then he had a role change, and that was identified in the preseason. And then he became a really, really tantalizing pick. So,
well, you've got that this season, right? You've just had a redraft, and it's in the redraft. I think you said Caleb Daniel went pick 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So Caleb Daniel, not on anyone's radar last year. Why would he be? And he went pick 2 or 3. I know Levi went first. Yeah, Levi went first, then Jagger, and then Caleb Daniel. And the Caleb Daniel team who had pick 3, because we do draft pick trading for that season only. We're going to talk about all these rules and whether they're ideal or not. I think I run ideal leagues, but we'll have debates and arguments about that, I'm sure. But this guy who picked Caleb Daniel he's contending this season, so he needs guys ready-made to come in at an average premium numbers. So for me, that was a perfectly fine pick at pick 3. And then pick 4 could end up being a multi-decade superstar, but it still might not suit what pick 2 or 3, is looking for his specific team. So it adds a very interesting element. Very, very interesting. So did you want to look at a few of these picks? Oh, he's disappeared. In that case, I'm gonna pretend he was never here. Oh, he's come back. He's come back. He's coming back, I think. These are the internet issues that we're gonna. At least it's not my internet this time. I think he can hear me, but I can't hear him, which is honestly the dream. I'm not sure anyone can hear him. I might have to add him back here in some way, shape, or form. Let me look at this. I'm getting all red bars from you, Lathas. We could be one and done here, mate. Completely just in and out. He got sick of you talking, I think. Honestly, I don't blame you, WebDog. I want to go through these picks, and all he was doing was poo-pooing my idea to go through the picks. He's out. I think he's restarting it. Lovely. Well, I'm going to go through where this draft is at, because Eccles said I was holding up the other draft, but I've now made my pick there, so I have no responsibilities. My pick is on in this draft in 4 picks, and I honestly have no idea who I'm going to take. I've done such little amount of research, but if we go down, we can see who has been picked already. Can I get him back in here? Oh, I think I just heard something. He might be trying to join back in. There he is. I might have to recopy his link. Oh no, he's back. He's back. You have to speak at some point. He looks very upset to be here. I don't even think he realizes he's here. We could see something to get us banned on Twitch here. Maybe he can't hear me. Lathas. Oh, we heard a bit of a cough. He's definitely here. Lathas, give us something. Are you that far delayed? Wakey, wakey. Nah, he might be with the fairies. As it's got Lathas with the 4 Z's there, which is very accurate. I think he must be DMing me. Did you mute on Discord? I did not, my friend. I can mute and unmute if that helps. How about we disconnect altogether? Hey there, Lathas.
I can hear you.
You can hear me? I can hear you, dude. You've been here the whole time.
I can hear you now.
Everyone's seen your somber face and thought, what's this dude's attitude? You're here? You got me? Or are you on a delay? He's shaking his head. Has he lost me? Have you lost me again? Or are you there? Nah, his internet has cracked it, I think. This is why we had such a delay to this stream. Perfecting something like this. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother. Can you hear me?
Alright. Sweet. Well, we're back. We're back.
Are we back? You seem like you're on a delay.
Yeah, I wasn't happy. But we're good. I think we're back.
Okay.
I
Can
think
you
there
confirm?
Might be a delay, but I think I'm sweet.
I think you're definitely delayed, brother.
I'm still here.
Yeah, okay, you're still here. I don't know what sentence you're replying to anymore. If I hold up, oh wait, you can't even see me. I can't hold up 2 fingers. If I say I'm holding up 2 fingers, how many fingers am I holding up? This is the best possible way to test this, I'm sure of it. As he holds his face. I feel like it's longer than a 3-second delay here. I think he's now laughing at the finger joke. Hey, Layaz, please. Give us something, mate. It could be a 3-hour delay. This is the Victoria time. We need the 30 minutes to pass before you can start hearing me again. He might legitimately be catching up from what I was saying at the very start of him joining back. Okay, I'm going to ignore him until he's fully back. He's on KO. So we have this draft currently happening right now. Pick 1 has gone to Nick Dacos, which is absolutely fair. He's going to jump in and say two fingers any moment. I promise you. Pick 2 was Harry Sheezer, which was I think that's the obvious top 2 picks, and he would definitely agree with me there. He's laughing a lot, and I don't know what he's laughing at. Which part has he gotten to on this delay? He's cringing. I went Jason Horn-Francis pick 3. In the entire lead up to this draft starting, I was on Zach Butters. But I made a last second switch to Horn-Francis. Something about Zach Butters playing for another club in the next 2 years really throws me off of the bias of that pick. Latha's laughing at Dacos 1 and Sheezel 2 is wild. We're just going to gaslight him for the rest of the stream here. He has to come back eventually. Can you hear me, Lathas? Are you properly here yet? Nah, he's just creasing. He's creasing at absolutely nothing at this point. And he's gone again. This is swell. Alright, anyway. This become a solo stream, which honestly I pioneered for in the first place anyway. Caleb Strong went pick 4, which is early. I had Caleb Strong and Zach Butters tied for the like either could go pick 4 and I wouldn't be mad at either one. Am I going to try and see if I can get this Joker back up, or no? He's not even on my screen at all anymore. Tristan Sherry, I think, is an interesting one. I'd love to talk to a draft expert about it. Oh, you're back. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yeah. What is he baffled about? Is it still this delay? The delay would only be Discord, so I'm very confused because Discord does not delay like that, surely. His internet must be absolute cheeks, which is a struggle. Is he even in the Discord anymore? I'm the only one in the Discord. This is the issue. Oh, Lathas, are you here, mate? Nah, this guy's giving me absolutely nothing. I'm going to keep going through anyways. Tristan Sherry, I think, is very interesting. I would have definitely taken Butters over Sherry. I just don't know about the it's hard to vibe with the ruckman, because if you look at the year before, a lot of people probably would have taken Tim English around that spot. He's back. He's made another appearance. Lathas.
I think I'm actually back this time.
You think you're actually? Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
You've responded directly to my questions. That's a great start.
Oh, dude, the comments were sending me. That was what I was laughing my head off. It wasn't you, JV Trust, but
the comments, right? So you couldn't hear me at all?
No, I could hear you, but for some reason the delay was massive. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, it's like a 4-hour delay. I asked you how many fingers I was holding up, told you how many it was, and you never got back to me. That's fine.
All
right, mute your Discord for me so I don't have to hear you twice, because once is honestly enough. Although hearing you twice might make up for all the time that I didn't hear you for at all.
True.
Well, if you have to mute your Discord because they can probably hear you twice as well.
Yeah, I've muted on Discord now.
All right, lovely. All right, now we're actually back then.
Yeah.
In the time it took you to figure that out, Wooshka's made a pick. So I think he's actually woken up from his nap. All right, we're good now. I was talking about Sherry. Tristan Sherry went pick 5 in our fresh keeper league draft. And I honestly disagree with it, because like you look at what happened with Tim English, and look at a lot of people that took Brody Grundy early when he was going through a dominant period. I just think ruckman, for some reason, they just don't have that sustained period of dominance anymore. Like Max Gawn is the one. He's like the big example of a guy who it's happened for, but I feel like he's becoming almost the lone example of the guy it's happened for in terms of the longevity. For a keeper league, what do you sit on the Sherry pick?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go for a ruck, who would you be going for other than Cherry? Because I mean, you do want to draft somebody that's younger if you're going for a ruck early.
But why would you go for a ruck early when it's a 10-person league? For me, I think if Sherry went down to like pick 8, 9, or 10, I would be comfortable. But I think Sherry over Zach Butters. Tom DeConing went 7. I haven't even seen that yet to be able to react to that. But I just think it's interesting.
I was actually going to say Tom DeConing. Like, if you're going to go Cherry, Tom DeConing is the next obvious one.
Yes, that is true.
But it is, yeah. Do you go early on the rucks? It depends. So what's the league you're in? Is that one ruck?
Yeah, one ruck and auto bench, and I don't know why there are so many bench options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There should not be 8.
Flex as well?
No, we don't have flex. I don't really.
Okay. So yeah, ruck isn't that important in that league. Like usually, if you've got like I'm in a league where we've got 2 rucks, and that is like it's killer. If you don't have like that second ruck, by the time we've got 10 people in our league, so by the time you're getting the 20th ruck, like they're not even going to be playing every week. So I can see going early on rucks in a league like that. But when you only need 1, like you can take. There's like 12 to 14 rucks that are going to play every week, and then you've got their backups if you want to handcuff them as well, where you basically have, for those of you who don't understand handcuffing, it's where you have the number 1 ruck for that club, but you also take their second ruck as well.
JV, was this you picking? Is that you? Are you GWS Giants taking with? Are you the one that took Sherry there? Because now you're saying that you regret your choice. I don't think it's a regrettable choice. I just think there are equally, if not better, options on the board. Well, I think Zach Butters is the better option on the board. Otherwise, I wouldn't. I honestly would have been comfortable with Sherry going directly after Butters. He said nah. Oh, so wait, it was deconning your choice. I don't know which team you are. You took Gorn. What, in this one? Have I not gotten to that yet? Oh, okay. Max Gorn went pick 11. Yeah, that's a regrettable choice.
Yeah, in a keeper league for sure. Unless, look, as we said earlier, you can go in with different strategies. So if that person is going in with the strategy of trying to just win now, then I guess like it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it plays out. But it's one of those things that Gorn is probably going to do well enough in the next year, maybe 2. But then now you're going to be looking for another ruck.
Yeah.
So unless you draft another, and I think realistically, your first, even if you're playing in that strategy, I think the first few picks should be younger guys with potential, guys like Butters. And then Gorn's probably going to slip to like round 3, 4, maybe even later.
Yeah.
Depending on the league. And so if you can, I would maximize the young guys early, at least for the first like few picks. And then if you want to start playing for now, well, sure, you can start going for guys like Gorn. That would be my take on it.
I think this draft is going very interestingly, and I don't want to just flame people for taking picks, because at the end of the day, like especially if you haven't done a keeper league before, it's very difficult to distinguish exactly where the line is between age and average for the next year or 2. And picking someone like here, Will Ashcroft went pick 13, which I think is a very good pick. Whoever the Essendon Bombers are, I think that's a respectable selection. However, Connor Rosie goes after that. Marcus Bontempelli went before that, and obviously Gorn is there. Andrew Brayshaw's gone pick 10. There are also a lot of players in here where I see them. Sam Flanders went pick 9, which I wouldn't have gone personally, but I don't hate it. But there's just so many picks that are happening here where I'm thinking, I don't know how many of these guys have played years and years of keepers. Sam Walsh just went down at pick 15, which I think is a good spot to get Sam Walsh at. It's just, I don't know. I don't think people have enough exposure to this game mode. And the best thing that we can do is what we're doing now, streaming on it, talking about it, and just forcing people in to play the game, because I think it's such a fun game when you get the hang of it. But everyone makes these mistakes on their first draft. Everyone, if you're drafting with first time players, a Max Gorn is going to go early in 80% of those drafts, because someone sees the big average and they go, yep, he's the guy this year. I want a good ruckman. 2 ruckmen are already off the board. I'm going to take Max Gorn, sort of thing. So I completely understand the rationale, but that's an inexperienced move to be doing in a keeper league, I think.
Look, sometimes people probably go the other end too hard as well.
And I would rather go this end than the other end, I think.
You'd rather go older or younger?
I think you're more of a chance of winning the flag year 1 than you are at winning the flag in the first 5 years if you go too old as opposed to going too young. If you go too young, like I know someone who did it in the other keeper league that I'm in that we started 4 or 5 years ago. And he went every pick was a teenager pretty much, because it's a keeper league. I want these kids forever. And then half the teenagers turned out to be no good, and then the other half of the teenagers, some of them became elite, and it's great, but then some of them just became decent or good, and you don't really have a great asset in that, and you've used your third, fourth, fifth rounder on these guys, and they just don't pay you back ever, and then you're left with like 3 good teenagers in 5 years' time that you had from your original crop, and you've got no flags and nothing to show for it. I think that's the worst way to go about a keeper league, personally.
I think if you're going, so I've got a few keeper leagues that I'm doing. One, I basically have picked guys that were in the like 22 to 28 range for pretty much every pick. One, and I'm like in the 3rd year of that now. One of them I've like gone really young, but not. That one is like you only keep 14 players.
Yep.
So my first 14 picks are all like, they're younger guys, but they're all like under 25s. So they're not super young, but they're youngish. Then and then every season when I'm doing the redraft, I'm primarily taking new draftees who I think are going to do well. And I'm only doing that for the next couple seasons. But my plan there is, and this isn't, I'm sure the people in that league will figure it out anyway, but me picking up those younger guys, I think most of them I'm going to use as trade bait to try and get a little bit older, because I think if, like you're saying, if you hold on to these young guys for 5 years and they don't pay you back, then you've essentially wasted 5 years on holding that person in that spot. Whereas if you can get that guy in who everybody really rates, like, so for example, I've got Mitch Owens, or I had Mitch Owens. I've got him in both my leagues. I kept him in one of them because it's got a really deep bench, so I'm just willing to keep him there just to see what happens. Obviously, his first year was really good. Second year, not as good. In my young one, I just traded him away. Not because I don't think he's going to be good. I still think he will. But he's riskier than a lot of the other younger guys that I had. So it made sense for me to try and deal him while his price was still high.
Yep.
And I think that's a big thing about what we're going to be talking about here, is that there's the waiver wire picks, which I think is really important. Then there's the who are you selling at seemingly their peak, or at least pretty high, and then who are you buying low, because I think that's the big thing over time that separates the good coaches from the bad coaches in a keeper league.
I think for me the main thing that makes a really good winning coach is how hard and how well you hit the waivers. But understanding that someone that you've gotten from the waivers is essentially someone you've gotten for free. You haven't invested draft capital, you haven't invested a trade into them or anything like that yet. And that's someone that you've they're found money, right? So you've got this player. If they've got value, you now have an extra keeper on, say they are a keeper, so they're good enough to be a keeper. You've picked like a Durham last year at the start of the year was a good one. You've picked someone like this that has talent, has he's a promising player. You could now find yourself in a position that you've got 15 keepers, whereas everyone else has 14, or worse yet, 13, 12, 11 if they've stuffed up a few of their picks as well. You could quickly find yourself in a position to do 2-for-1 trades and build the top end of your roster up so quickly that people just struggle to compete with you after a year or even 6 to 12 months in the competition. You could already find yourself with a superior roster, which I find that's the tactic that I go for when I start new drafts. And I would love to talk this year, prior to the waiver wire opening up, about the guys who I like, because if people from my league watch it, they're only going to go, okay, well, you've got the 4th waiver selection, I've got the 3rd, I'm going to get that guy. But that should be happening anyway. These guys should be obvious. If I'm noticing them and they're obvious to me, they should be obvious to more people. And I shouldn't just have free reign. So I think that's a very interesting way to get a leg up on the competition as well. Is you just obviously you consume a lot of the product, but identifying talent and getting them in, and then having the balls to trade them as well, especially while they've got good value, I think or it doesn't have to be them, but 2 other keepers that you sort of think have value to other people. I think it's very interesting, very good and easy way to get a leg up on the competition.
100%. I think with the waivers, if you're playing classic as well, which most of us would be, then whenever like a new rookie comes in, like the first thing I do, or if I hear somebody who's like, if there's an injury, I instantly look to see, well, who's going to be coming in for that injury, right?
Yep.
And so straight away I'm looking at the waivers. And then if it's a rookie who's just playing his first game, if they score reasonably well, even if sometimes I'll pick them even before they play, because I think that like there's a chance that they do well if I've done some background research on them. And I basically have my last and second last slot of my roster is essentially a rotating waiver pick, where I just like I'll pick a guy up on the waivers who might be a bit of a riskier pick, and I'll just watch him play for a couple of weeks. If it's no good, I flick him off to another waiver selection a couple of weeks later.
Yep, 100%.
So like I did that with Lawson Humphreys, and he worked out really well. So there's guys like that you can kind of pick up on the waivers. And they might not. They got high potential, but maybe like there's a high chance also they do nothing. I think they're the sort of ones that you're willing to have a bit of a throw at the stumps at.
Now I'm drafting here. Sorry, I was sorry for cutting you off there, mate. I'm drafting here, and there's a name that I am surprised is still on the board. So since we were talking, we spoke about Connor Rosie, Sam Walsh went, Noah Anderson and Tom Green both went. Now, for me, I think there's a super obvious guy, and I was going to ask you about this, and I'm glad this has come up so naturally. I feel like there's a super obvious guy who hasn't gone yet, and it's because people look at this season, this very season coming in front of us, and go, this guy's going to miss the first couple of months of the season. And do you know who I'm talking about?
I can't. Is it on you? I'm a bit behind on your screen.
No, you don't need to. You just need to listen to the clue. They're missing the first few months of the season. We're up to pick 18 now, so I'm taking with pick 18, and they're not off the board yet. They're a very, very good young player. I had him around my top 12 mark, essentially.
There's a few that I could see in there. Potentially Mills, potentially...
No, this is the brand new one. This is the brand new draft, not the redraft.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right. It's not... It wouldn't be Jagger Smith. He'd probably be too early, potentially, there. I'm not sure. Who have you got?
Alright, I'm going to take Errol Gordon here.
Oh, Gordon, of course.
Yeah, so someone that I had on my draft board pretty high up, probably around the 12, 13 mark at worst. And, he's done this injury. He's out for the first 2-3 months of the season. Do I care about that? Absolutely not. Couldn't care less. It's a keeper league. I'm going to have this guy for the next 10 years. I find these guys slide so much in, especially when you're drafting with people who haven't done keeper leagues a lot. These are the guys that slide beyond where they should. And, like I felt with Butters slid a little bit because he was out, and people, when the selection was made, people were like, oh my God, Zach Butters. I was like, yeah, like you get him for the next 10 years. Who cares about the first month of this season? Like, it's a very small blip. If he got injured the day after the draft, you wouldn't be going, oh my God, that was such a stupid pick. Like, you still have him for the next 10 years regardless. So, I think Gordon's unbelievable value there. I think there's another guy who I was eyeing up early on that who hasn't gone yet, but he's more of a speculative punt. I'll leave that one because I don't know if who's Carlton? Who had the number one pick? Butler and Tom G. I don't know if either of them are in here, but if they're listening to my trade secrets, then they can stop doing so. But no, I think that's another mistake that people make.
Yeah, you make a great point. It does potentially change how you play that season. Like, as you're saying, if your player gets injured after you've drafted them, it does change how you play. Like, in one of my keeper leagues, we had pick 2 took Jagger Smith. Obviously, he did the ACL.
Yep.
And so now they're like, all right, well, I'm not probably going to do a big jump up the board this year. So instead, I'll just look at, kind of trading pieces a bit if he needs to try and get heavier in the draft for next year. So that then when Jagger Smith's back, he can kind of line that up with the new players he brings in as well. So I think it does change the way you play slightly if you get an injury like that. But at the same time, it also could be an opportunity to look to trade them if you really wanted to. I would try and hold them at all costs if you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you really are in win now mode and somebody like Jagger Smith gets injured and you're like, if I can trade him now to pick up a guy, I don't know, whoever it is, then maybe it is worth it in the win now scenario. But most of the time, because it's a keeper league, it's better to just hold on to those guys and at least wait until he's played a few games, his price is high, then you look to flip him at that point.
I find, and this is playing into people's biases a little bit, but this is a big part of the game as well, is understanding the coach as well as it's understanding the actual players that you own. I find playing into people's biases, if you have someone that supports the team of the player that you own, in the week or two, right before they're due to come back, is probably the peak of their value. and I wouldn't do it with someone like Gordon, but someone more promising that has delivered less, so someone of a slightly lower value, I find that's when people get antsy. They're like, oh, this guy's coming back. Like, I remember they just think of all the good times. Like, remember all those big scores that they got last year, and I find they look at it in rose-colored glasses a lot when they're just about to return, and that can be a real sweet spot in terms of, you know, trading someone out. But I generally don't trade players out that are injured anyway. I generally hold them until they come back, see how they go, reassess, etc. A lot can change after an injury, so for better or for worse. So Josh Dunkley just went in this one as well. Interesting one with Dunks there. I do have him early-ish on my board. He's just
28.
after pick 20 for me.
He's 28 years old, so not a bad age.
You're going to get 3 years probably from him at 110 plus, which I think is good. That's in a keeper league. If you're peppering the 26 to 30 age bracket, I think you're like contending prime. You got years of contention ahead of you. So Josh Dunkley, I think, ticks those boxes.
So in this first keeper league, a keeper league that I'm in right now, that's drafting from the very beginning for the first time. Pick 1, Tristan Cherry. Pick 2, Max Gawn.
Wait,
isn't that interesting?
In a fresh keeper, did you say?
Fresh keeper.
Pick 1 was Sherry.
And pick 2, Max Gawn. Yeah.
So the Max Gawn drafter, do you know if they're relatively new to keeper leagues or?
Not sure. I don't know enough about the people in this league yet, to be honest. I'm still scoping that out, but
right.
Yeah,
is that a Slack one?
It is half Slack, half not.
Yep. I wish I could, but it's the way that the screen is. It is a bit of a pain to move around. We'll get that right. We'll get that right eventually. Sorry, mate. I did notice that in the production, but yeah. Shout out to WebDog and Eccles who guessed Gordon before I typed him into my screen there as well. Got it before Lathas did, so I might have you boys on next week instead.
They're also in that league, aren't they? So they're seeing it anyway.
They are both in that league, but they both had selections prior to me choosing Gordon, so
yeah, right. So they name it but don't pick it. What's up with that?
It's very strange. And Jay Bing is saying that he got a bargain by getting Max Gordon where he got him in the end, because obviously pick 2. If you do compare the two, like I said, if you run up about 100 keeper league drafts that happen this year, I promise you Gordon will go higher than your selection 20% of the time. Should he go there though? No. Did you make a bad pick that's going to ruin your season? Absolutely not. Like, you go, especially Ruckman, they go for years and years beyond what people tend to think is their expiry date. So, you're going to have a good Ruckman scoring good scores probably for the next 2 or 3 years still. You can build around that pretty comfortably. I would go youth more so, not like real young, but I would try now that 25 to 28 range as much as you can now to have a core around Gorn for the next couple of years. But it is difficult. I wouldn't now go, oh, I've got this old guy on my team, I have to go old guys for the rest of the draft. Like, I wouldn't fall into that trap. You don't have to have a one-dimensional team sort of thing.
So imagine, I've got Gunnar was pick 3, right? And Gunnar has gone ahead and picked Nakos at pick 3, which is absolutely incredible.
That should be pick 1. That's consensus pick 1 across the world.
Him and Sheasel, I think there is some people would put Sheasel ahead, but I'm the Pies
they're the top
fan,
2.
So I
they're
know
the top
bias.
2. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. But crazy. He's a lucky man for sure. So good on you, Gunnar.
Jordan Dawson just went for us, so Tom G is picking now. Yeah, Gunnar would be very confused as his luck Duke. That is absolutely correct. Imagine I started with pick 3 in this draft, and I was like, you're kidding. I have to choose between like Butters, Sarong, Horn, Francis, essentially. Like, I'm choosing between 3 guys who I love, who I think are guns. It's a tough decision. Whereas if I had pick 5, I don't have to choose between those 3 guys, and I still get a really amazing player, probably the same level as what pick 2 got, and then I come around faster. Pick 1 and 2 is such an advantage, and those unlucky lads have thrown that away a little bit there, which is quite sad for them.
JB, I know we were talking about it last night. You talked about your top 10. Should we go through your top 10 of a brand new keeper, and maybe we can analyze that a bit?
Yeah, happy to. Butler's on the clock right now, and then it's my pick, and someone in my top 10 is still on the board. So I wonder if this will tell us if he's tuned in or not, because I will go through it. So I had, it is in order, but after pick 2, the order does quickly muddy up between what you personally want to achieve in your keeper league, whether you want to go a bit younger, a bit older, middle age, whatever. So pick 1 and 2, I think consensus Dacos and then Sheasel for me. That's my take on that. I moved Horn Francis to 3rd on my board because that's who I favoured with my 3rd pick going into this draft. So it'd be ingenuine to not have him there at 3rd place. But prior to the Butters injury and trade rumours, it was Butters, Sarong, then Horn Francis, but he's just been moved up in mine. But those are the next 3. I think those 3 pretty comfortable saying that they can be taken there. Now, in the next 5, I think any of these guys can go in any order whatsoever. And I understand one of them slipping, and they're slipping in this draft right here, and I completely understand why, but these are the next 5 for me. I've got Bontempelli, 29-year-old, but he's going to be the best player in the game probably at least for the next 2 or 3 years still, which I think has incredible value. Tristan Sherry is there as well. He could be picked anywhere between 5 and 10, and you could be super comfortable with that, I think. Will Ashcroft is there, who was taken in our draft very early, and so is Luke Davies-Uniacke. Now, the guy who hasn't been taken, Butler, speak up if you're holding out for me here. I should. Oh, Tom's saying he should have held out. But I've got Harley Reid in my top 10, and that might be contrary to what a lot of people thought about Reid as well. But just in the way I evaluate someone, I saw him win games off his own boot. I saw him put up big 130, 140 plus scores last year, off just winning the game off his own boot, right? He's a pick 1. He's playing on a really bad team. I see those signs as someone, I see those signs as something that's building into what we saw from Dangerfield, what we saw from. There's a lot of guys that you see get these top scores and then just have a lot of 60s and 70s while they figure out their role and their place in the league. But then when they figure it all out, Butler's just picked Harley Reid. But when they figure it all out, they start becoming consistent in the league, you see a massive spike, and you can see them hit those 120 plus scores. And if I'm picking in the top 10, I'm picking a guy who I think can average 120 plus for a sustained period, which I think Harley Reid can. Not to say he's guaranteed to do so, but I think he definitely can. And now Butler's taking him away from me, so that's a bit stiff. But that's why we do this. We want people to be better in these keeper leagues, and in my opinion, Butler, he is Port Adelaide. I don't think he's made perfect selections. He's got Dunkley, Reid, and Sheasel. He pretty much has made perfect selections because I think Dunkley is a very good pick as well. I don't know who I was thinking of there, but yeah, no, his draft is off to a ripper start in my opinion.
I'm not gonna pump you up much more than this ever again. So take this, JB. But
Thank you.
Pretty selfless act there, naming Harley Reid there before you pick. Well played.
No, honestly, I want this. I want the viewership to go up, and I want the people that I'm playing with to listen, and I want them to get better, and I want them to enjoy it. I want them to win flags. I'm sick of just winning all the flags in my leagues that I'm in. It honestly gets boring. It just gets boring, dude. But genuinely, no. I just want people to improve and enjoy the game, because I think it's the most enjoyable way to play the game. A lot of the time when you've got a good team and when you're up and about. Now I have to figure out who I'm taking next. Do you have any tips, Lathas? Do you want to put yourself on here?
Well, again, it's hard for me to figure out who's been picked and who hasn't, but maybe it's worth talking about a few of these other guys. And I don't know if they've gone yet, but I think you said Tom Green's already gone. What about someone like Sam Walsh? How do you feel about him?
He has gone. Sam Walsh is there are certain players, and Tom Green's another one. There are certain players that exist where you can acknowledge that they are a good pick and value at the place that they went, but they are a problem that you want someone else to draft. You don't want to be stuck with that player, even though you know they're good value and you know that they're probably a good pick there. There are just problem children in this game that you just don't want to be stuck with, and it generally revolves around injury or frustration at someone not realizing their full potential. And I think both Tom Green and Sam Walsh have both ticked both those boxes already early in their career. So as much as I think Sam Walsh is a good pick, he went pick 15 for us. I think that's fine. I think that's probably about where he goes. I still would rather someone else make that selection. If Sam Walsh got to me at 23, I would have picked him out of necessity because I think he's slipping too far. But I'd have hated doing it because now I know he's my problem, and if he's injured for 8 weeks of the season, I'm stuck with him, and people aren't trading for a dude who's just perennially injured a lot of the time, or not to the value that that they can actually get up to themselves. So I think there are a certain amount of problem children that offer that sort of interesting dilemma. I'm going to take my next pick here. I think I know who I want, and it's Isaac Rankin.
Oh, yeah, massive choice.
Yeah.
I don't know if he keeps forward status.
No, I actually don't think he does this after this year, but I'm also okay with that.
Yeah, I mean he's a jet, isn't he?
Yes.
Asking about Clark there in the chat. I mean, I think Clark again. He's somebody who definitely could be that next guy, but it's a bit of a gamble still. I think it's in that similar place as what you were just talking there about. Green and whatnot, but he's a defender as well, so he's not scoring as high as someone like Green, even now. But some other guys, like I assume Flanders has already been taken in your league.
Yeah, Flanders went, I think, inside the top 10, which I'm okay with, but I think I had him 11th in my list, for what it's worth. Yeah, he went 9.
Has he gone yet?
Noah Anderson went he went just recently, and I thought it was a good pick. Pick 16. Which I think is a good selection. He again represents a similar thing, but on a lower scale of what I see from LDU, and that you see those massive ceiling games, but you haven't seen them put it together. Another thing I like to look for, and this is I think just a massive indicator as to whether someone's going to be good or not. But as soon as you see a young kid playing a game of two halves, like they're on 80 at halftime, they're perennially on 80 at halftime, but then they finish on 96. You're like, God, why can't he just put it together for a ton? Why can't he just put it together for the 120? I find those players are really interesting to target because they're super frustrating to own while they're doing those, while they're having that sort of run of their body's not quite fit enough, or they're not quite smart enough to keep going with the, collecting the footy, whatever it is. It's the Dusty rule, right? We saw him for years and years and years. He'd put out these massive halftime scores and then he'd fade away. And everyone was like, it's fitness. When they put together two halves of football consistently, which they generally do end up doing it because they've got the talent to do so, they become absolute superstars. And I think Noah Anderson did that for about a couple of years ago. He was doing it consistently, scoring a massive half and then fading away. And now you're seeing him start to put together those consistent 4-quarter games, and now you're seeing the big 130, 140 pluses. But you just want the floor to raise a little bit. But I like him a lot.
Shall we go and act like we're going to create a brand new league and go through some of the settings a little bit there?
Yeah, well, Wet Dog's taking his time on the next selection, so I'm absolutely happy to do that. Do you want me to just click around here, or?
Yeah, let's just
probably
go
sense.
as if you're going to create a new one, and we'll just see. We'll go through some of the options a little bit and which ones we prefer and maybe why we prefer them.
So create league. Let's go JB and Lathaz. Oh, Lathaz.
You should just put the code on there and just see who joins. Maybe we just actually make this into a league. Wouldn't that be crazy?
That would be crazy. You're right. Yeah, so we're not going to do that. Yeah, no, I'm interested. So let's go. We want private league here. We're not going to put a description. So first choice here is to set the number of teams in your league. What's your preferred amount of teams?
I think somewhere in that 10 to 12 range. I think you can. Going too low, it's just not that fun to me. Going on the higher end, I think if you want to challenge yourself and really go into the deeper selections of the competition, then I think that's fine too. But yeah, I think that like 10 to 12 range is the sweet spot. I've got one with 10, one with 12, and yep. I mean they don't feel too different. Either of those kind of works. I've
got 2 leagues with 10. And that's my preferred method because you think about it, you take another 40 players out of the draft pool. The waivers, all of a sudden, you don't have as much meat on the bone. You're probably getting 1 or 2 waivers a month that are like potential keepers or have any value at all. Whereas when you're in the 10-team league, you could be looking at 2 or 3 a week if you're watching closely enough on the waivers for players who could end up having value, which I think just encourages people to trade more. They get more value in their team. They trade it more. Trading is fun. Waivers are fun. I think it just generates a little bit more fun, But I think in terms of competitiveness, if you wanted the maximum competitiveness, you probably go a 12 team. But if you want maximum fun, you'd go a 10 team. So what do you want to choose for this one?
Let's go. Let's go 12.
All right, you want maximum competitiveness. Fair enough. All right, so in terms of the players...
Sorry, Fabled's asked. I don't know who Fabled is on Slack, but
that's Duke.
They've asked update on the Duke. Update on the Psycho draft with Cherry and Gorn. Yep. So things have become more stable over there. So we've gone Cherry, Gorn 1 and 2. 3 was Nick Dacos. 4 Harry Sheasel. 5 Bont, which might have been a touch early in my opinion, but not bad. 6
touch early.
Horn Francis. 7 Zach Butters. 8 Caleb Sarong. That's where we're up to. So things feel like they've gotten a bit better there.
They've leveled out.
11. So there's 2 more and then it's me. So and then I've got because we're doing snake draft, it'll be pick 11 and then there's 12-man league, so I'll be back on at 14. So I could get some 2 good selections in there hopefully.
Lovely. We're on to the WebDog took Colby McCurchin next in our draft. Not someone I have in the top 30 of my rankings, but knowing WebDog's a North Melbourne lad and knowing McCurchin just has immense talent, I think it's absolutely fine to reach on a player like this if you like them enough. I think the most important thing in the draft is you're not going to extract maximum value out of every single pick, and that's okay. If you like a player enough, then just pick them. If you think there's a chance they don't make it back to you, just pick them. Like, you're not going to ruin 100%. Your draft picking a guy a round or 2 early. It's never going to have that much of an impact, right? You might look back on the draft and go, damn it, I wish I took this guy who went next, blah, blah, blah. But that's fine. That's with hindsight. I think if you like a guy enough, you just take them, especially if it's ballpark.
One thing that's so good about Keeper Leagues is that I think you build like a connection to the players on your team more than you do in Classic. And so if you've got a guy that like you really don't like as a person, e.g. Zorko.
Dane Zorko, yeah, that's what I thought.
Then maybe don't worry about that if you can find another guy who's like equal status, then maybe it's worth going. So if you're a North fan, I can understand going for Colby McCurcher, maybe reaching up slightly up the board.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I would say, like, I'm a Collingwood fan, so I would say Dacos would be that for me, but I mean, he's going 1 or 2 anyway, so it doesn't really change it for me. Yep. But yeah, definitely an interesting one there.
Well, I took Horn Francis. I could safely say if the knee injury and the Western Bulldogs rumour didn't come out a week ago about Zach Butters, I was taking Zach Butters there. But my bias shifted a little bit towards the guy who chose to come to our club, is going to be dominant anyway, very, very young. My bias shifted there on a 50-50 call as it was, and I suspect I reached up a couple of picks for Horn Francis, but it's not like it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. That's the guy I wanted. I don't think Horn Francis was going to be there at pick 20, so I'm taking him at pick 3. That's fine with me.
Yep.
I think that's super important as well. So
and a lot of these guys as well are within a couple points, right? So it's not crazy if you're just going within a couple points.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, let's have a look at this.
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer in... I use the 5-7-1-5 with 4 bench options, which gives you 22 players each. I don't know why this league that we're drafting right now is different. I swear I selected this option. I never selected any other option. And the default option isn't even the option that we are. So I'm very confused as to how that's worked out. Ours is 26 at the moment that we're drafting, but I don't know. I might try and change that. Might be too late. But anyway, I prefer the 22 players. I don't need a deep bench. I think a deep bench allows people to stash players that would otherwise be on the waivers, which I think is just less conducive to a fun environment, especially when you've got 12 teams in there anyway. The waiver pool is already lower than what a 10-team one is. I don't think you need the extra players on the bench. What's your thoughts?
So yeah, I'd say we differ a little bit there. I probably prefer dynasty style leagues more than keeper leagues. Mm-hmm. And I think if I had it my way, I would like to have a league, at least, maybe not all my leagues, but a league where every single player in the whole AFL is drafted to a team. It would be a lot more like there wouldn't be as much to do. Well, there'd be that, but there'd be less to do in terms of like you don't have waiver picks and stuff like that. it's more about like the draft, the mid-season draft, and then the end of year draft.
Yeah.
They're like the two big moments where you'd be putting a lot of time and energy into. But I like that because it feels like I'm playing as if I'm like a real AFL club, and I've got like list spots where like these guys are not going to play AFL footy for years potentially. They might not even ever play, whatever. So I know it's yeah, the final rounds of that draft would be diabolical, 100%.
Yeah.
So I
agree with Duke's comment as well. I would get very bored in a dynasty because I just feel like, yeah, I need the waivers. I need to track certain players. Even the difference between a 4 and an 8 person bench, I think, is crazy because, like, I want someone to, if they're in a contending position, for example, when they have 2 on-field injuries, and 2 guys on the bench that might already have long-term injury, I want them to make a decision, like AFL clubs do. Do we drop one of these guys? And well, they don't make this decision, I guess, but they do make, you know, the heat of the moment decisions. Do I want to drop one of these guys that has actual value, try and trade knowing that I'll get like limited value back, or commit to these 4 injured or 5 injured guys and understand I'm gonna lose games in the meantime? I like forcing coaches into decisions like that because, again, it's you know, productive towards trading and things that we enjoy, like waiver wire sniping. I think trading and waiver wire movement are the most enjoyable parts of this game. Obviously, picking your guy and following your guy and getting, you know, having a good young lad that does well for you is the best part. That's the payoff. But the things that we use to get them there, the draft, the waivers, and the trades, I think are the things that I want to sort of not force people into, but I want to encourage people to do as much as possible. And having an 8-man bench does not encourage trading whatsoever. So I'll let you choose how many teams fair. We had. I'm gonna choose how many players we have. We're gonna go 22.
No, that's fair. I think it is. It's a matter of preference for sure. And as I said, I wouldn't want that dynasty league as my only keeper league.
Yeah.
I would definitely, like, that's just something I would like to have as one that just like have for 10, 15 years and just get to enjoy that as a bit of a slower option.
Yep.
But if I was doing a keeper league now, we'll get to the point of like how many we're actually keeping and whatnot. But
yep.
The 5-7-1-5 format, I think, is the way to go. You could add a flex in there potentially if you really want to do that. I don't think I love the flex.
Yeah, I'm not with the flex.
But I know some people like that.
Yeah.
And I do like a deeper bench. But I can hear your point as well. And again, I think I've got a few different leagues and all of them are quite different in the format. Like this one I'm drafting right now, there's zero waivers for the whole year. So it is going to be a standoff.
That stuff is insane to me. I just can't vibe that stuff. It's just not for me. I understand the niche for it. I understand the love for it, the enjoyment for it, but I'm not that like hyper analytical where I'm going to enjoy that as much as you are. By the way, Zach Merritt went next in this draft after Colvin McKercher, which I think is a phenomenal pick. Merritt I had about 20th ranked on mine, maybe a little bit earlier. So the fact that he's gone 25, I think, is extracting great value there. And I think that's from the same man that took Max Gorn. No, it's not. Oh well, he's still muttered. Fair enough. Whoever took Zach Merritt, I think that's an excellent pick. That's the GWS Giants. David wants to know why you're wearing a hat inside. Lathaz, it's a bit of a rude question if you ask me.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Yeah, I thought he was asking you, to be honest. But
we're both wearing hats. It's unclear.
If you can see in my background, it's actually really sunny where I am. So
true.
That's for me. I don't know.
And if you can see my face, that's the sun reflecting on my face as well. So I'm obviously very bright. So on to the next lot of season settings here. First of all, I think league start round 1. I think that's fine. I don't know if there's any discussion about that. I don't like skipping the buys because I do like the randomness of that, but I understand why the diehards want to skip it because it does bring a bit of luck to the league. But I like that the lower teams that have more room to move players in and out can actually build a bit of a buy team and get a sneaky win on a higher ranked team. But that just adds a level of luck to it. So whether you want that in or not, I'll leave up to you.
I think the way I usually do it is we don't skip buys, but we change the number of scoring players, just like we kind of do in Classic.
Okay, what do you change it to?
So what do we got? 5-7-1-5, you said?
Yep.
So 18 on field.
Yep.
I'd probably go down to like a 14 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Do you go on percentage or total points? I'm a big believer in total points.
Yeah, I've definitely started leaning that way now as well.
Yep. Okay.
Because
let's lock that in.
Somebody told me one time, they were like, if you're playing in an AFL team where you're playing head to head, of course percentage makes sense.
Yeah.
But when you're playing, sorry, this is more so based on Classic actually, what he kind of said. But the idea of like, in Classic, everyone's playing with the same teams. Why would you possibly go with percentage? Because you're not going up against another team. Like you're basically going up against the same team and a few players different.
I just think it adds a massive, like for example, we've got the bye rounds there. If you verse the bottom two teams during the bye rounds when there's 14 scoring players, I just think it adds an element of luck that the bottom teams don't quite deserve. I think you deserve to be rewarded for getting consistently the most points over the year. It's only a tiebreaker anyway, so I just think it's a better tiebreaker personally. But I'm not like super passionate either way. I just selected it in all my drafts. Final series is very interesting. I've actually just moved from the default top 6 bracket, which is first versus fourth, winner goes to the prelim, second versus third, winner goes to the prelim, and then you got the loser drops to the winner out of fifth versus eighth, etc., etc. I've now gone to, I think it's top 5 over 4 rounds. So second versus third. Then the winner of that versus first for a spot in the granny. And then the loser of second versus third versus fourth versus fifth. So then go the long way through, which takes them then to the prelim, which who plays the loser of first versus the winner of second and third, etc. onto the grand final. I just think it rewards first place the most. I think it's super rewarding to first place. They get that first week bye, and then they essentially get a double chance from there to make the grand final. That's what you get for building the most consistent team over the course of the season. Second and third, obviously rewarded. They get a double chance as well for being the second and third best teams. And then fourth and fifth, who just snuck in. Usually fourth and fifth are a bit of a step below second and third anyways. They've just snuck in. They have to be perfect to make the grand final. So if you are harbouring injuries and playing it safe the whole entire season up until then you're going to have to go the long way around. Whereas if you were aggressive or you built a better team and had the better season-long success, then you're going to get rewarded. So I like the idea of rewarding the teams that had sustained it for the entire season rather than the teams that just made up the numbers at the end. But I get that might be contentious as well.
Yeah, I usually go with the top 4 one.
Apparently it's your pick, by the way. Someone's screaming at you in the chat.
I'm just looking at that now. But yeah, I usually go with the top 4 option. Even though there's more people in there. But I can see what you're saying about top 5 as well. My reason for top 4 is that then I think, because we'd have to check at the top 12, but if you think about how many teams there are, like if you in the draw, if you have the option to be able to have it so that every player plays each other twice, and then you play finals, that I think is more even in terms of, I don't know if you just said this before because I was focused on the draft, but
it's our priorities.
But I think that's the thing to look at. So if you're playing 10 leagues, well then you can afford, what is it? Because you'd be playing 18 games, I guess, to make sure that everybody plays twice. And so then you're able to have a longer final series. Whereas if you're in a 12-man league like this one is, then you want to have a shorter final series to try and make it so that everyone plays each other twice. But it usually tells you that as well when you go to select.
Yeah, so here we got play opponents twice, but then you still want finals, so then you have to pick top 4. See, I'm like, for me, I don't care if teams play each other twice. I think there can be an element of luck to the draw, but all in all, the top 5 are generally going to be the top 5. Maybe fourth could have gotten into second or third if their draw was better. But like, this is completely, like, we play over the buys. Like, there's already an element of luck to this whole entire thing as it is, but I think the best team is generally going to finish top, and then the second and third best teams, the cream generally just rises to the top regardless. So I think in terms of this, I'm happy with the custom fixture. You're going to verse a team 3 times instead of everyone twice, and I'm honestly happy with the final series being top 5. But I mean, I'm happy to defer as well, but that's where I'm at.
No, let's do it.
All right,
we'll do it.
This is the type of setting, by the way, that I'm completely comfortable changing in year 2 if there's a popular demand of like that didn't work. Let's see how top 6 goes, top 4 goes.
That is one
open
good,
to that.
One thing is good. Actually, let's talk about that briefly, because the idea of changing rules from season to season. How do you feel about that? Because I think it should be something that depends on the rule, but I think some of them you need to give like a good 2 to 3 seasons of time before you can actually make the change. Just because if certain people are building their team to the current rule set. So for an example, we have 2 rucks in one of the keeper leagues that I'm in, and a lot of people don't like it, which is fair enough. But because there are guys who have been trading away like good midfielders to get a second ruck, it means that it would be unfair for us to change that rule down to 1 ruck now, because it heavily benefits the people who didn't have good rucks, which is actually me in that scenario. And I actually want to keep the 2 rucks. But it's so what do you think about that? What sort of things do you think should be done like the next season? I think finals is probably one of those ones where it doesn't really matter too much. But
so
there's definitely other rules that
I commissioned 2 leagues. I'm a super there is no dictatorship whatsoever. Essentially, there might be things that if it's a split vote, I might sort of just split the vote and say, you know what, actually I think this is better as someone who's commissioned leagues before, and put my 2 cents in there. But overall, I would rather just go with popular demand and have the league vote on what they think is best, put forward my pros and cons, just have them vote, whether that means we change something immediately or we change something over a couple of seasons. But generally speaking, I wouldn't want to change anything. I wouldn't want to make any changes that I think would have to be implemented over a couple of seasons, because I think it's just like, you agreed on this stuff in the first place. If you're now choosing to change it, and it's going to be such a big change that it has to take 2 or 3 seasons to kick in, I just think you're going back on the initial agreement, which you should have all had that discussion in the first place anyway. Maybe it's that I don't do anything as outlandish as 2 rucks in the first place in any of my leagues, which might be a reason for that. But personally, any change that I've made changes to the finals. I've implemented draft pick trading. I've implemented I'm trying to think of what else. There's been other things that I've changed, whether I've given a heads up or just said, look guys, this is the most obvious change. If anyone votes against it, let's talk about it. But I feel like it's obvious. Anything like that I've done has always been implemented the next season, but nothing's been as radical as changing, completely changing the layout of the team. I think that deserves a couple of seasons to kick in, because people base their entire strategies around that stuff. Like, that absolutely deserves it. If I had like an established, I established with my keeper leagues, 12 keepers this year, 14 the next year, 16 the next year. Then we decide year on year based on that. If I wanted a major change in that, then I would definitely give them years heads up though, because establishing keepers, that changes the whole way you draft, it changes the whole way you trade, you waiver, it changes everything. So that type of rule, I would give years and years of advance. I just want to give you a little update on my draft. There's been a few more picks. These guys are staying up late, which I love in a draft. So after we saw Zach Merritt go, which I thought was a great pick, the Melbourne Demons went with Ron Marshall, which I think is fine because there's already rucks off the board. Now you're taking him around pick 26. It's probably a bit early for me, but I think it's a pick that's not going to burn you by taking. Then we see Jordan Clark and Wangani Malira go back to back there in selections, which is pretty funny because that's who we're all weighing up this year in Supercoach as well. Both young guys averaging well in Supercoach in the defensive line. Then we see Hayden Young go, who I had rated pretty highly on my board, and then Clayton Oliver, which I think is maybe the biggest talking point in drafts this year. Pick 31 for Clayton Oliver. I don't know if he would have gone pick 31 before the game 3 hours ago, but he's gone pick 31 now, and I personally think it's an unbelievable pick. I don't know. I want to go look at who the Brisbane Lions are. I want to see what other selections they've made. I think it's a really savvy, really good pick. So that's JV.
An update on my first pick there. I probably went a little bit against what I normally do, and I went Chad Warner.
Okay.
Pick 11, which is probably maybe a little earlier than I might have.
In a fresh draft.
Usually. Yeah, I've gone Chad Warner, but the reason is a few of the other ones I'd looked at, I didn't. I have in other leagues, so I wanted to try and I like the idea of changing it up a little bit. And I also think that he's going to be a Jet in the future as well, and I think he's going to be big when he goes over to the West next season. So I've gone early on that.
Yeah, you have. I noticed he's still available in our draft, which is interesting. We're at pick 32.
There you go. Well, I've gone early, but I like that pick personally. And as I said, some of the other guys I've looked at are I've got them in other leagues, and so I like to pick for the guys that I enjoy watching play as well, and also because I've got other guys in other leagues, it makes it a bit more interesting.
Interesting indeed. Yeah, I'm just looking at where I had him on my board, and it was around this section here, so I expect he's actually probably going to go soon. And you've said you picked him at 11, which I think is batshit crazy. I think that's a horrific pick. Yeah, he's going to go very soon anyways. All right, so now we're setting a draft time for our league here. What do you want to do with that? We're doing, I think it's obvious we do Snake. Do you do like unlimited time? No limit?
I usually do 24-hour picks, but I wouldn't be against the idea of like a 4-hour or 8-hour instead.
Just thinking about the logistics here. There are 24 people in the chat. We could definitely start this thing. Like get like a 1 minute time limit on it.
Oh mate, this would be mental. We'd be going till because can you have a break overnight?
Nah, just send it. How long would that take? Well, 30-second time limit. 30-second time limit.
30 seconds. It is what? It's how many picks are we doing in total?
So there's 12 players, 22 per team. Yeah. Well, people will be taken before 30 seconds. That's the 30-second max.
I mean, look, that'd be mental. Why not? 264 picks.
Yep.
Times 30 seconds. I don't know why I've done this like this. That's 7,920 seconds.
Now convert that into hours for us, mate. It's about an hour and a half, no?
So that's 130 minutes.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half. Yeah, so you could have just asked me from the start. I mean,
that's not how that works. That's 2 hours and a bit, but sure.
Wait, how many minutes did you say?
132.
Oh, yeah, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, 90. I'm just going to.
We're not here for maths, guys. We're here for Supercoach talk.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Which is a good strong aspect. I mean, we could set it to no limit and just have the people here and then call it at a certain point and say we're doing the rest off stream.
Nah, what the heck? Just do 30 seconds and then whatever we don't get to becomes auto pick.
There's a keeper league. We want to.
Yeah, but it's gonna how many? We haven't decided how many we're keeping, right?
Let's say, or all right, how many should we keep?
We've got 22. I reckon if we make it like a 14 keep, then it means that we can get through 14 selections, right? And then anything after that, like, is going to be a bench anyway, probably.
Yeah, so 14 keep. I'm happy with that. We've got some more settings. Let's fly through these settings first. Let's see how we go after these settings, okay?
All right.
Alright, so enable rolling lockout. I want to see. I don't care. Like it depends how much people say they have time to deal with this on the weekend. You know, with their other team and stuff.
I just keep it honestly. Like
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, captaincy, big no for me. Couldn't be a bigger no.
Yeah, I'm the same. I can't stand captaincy. Yep.
Perfect. Emergencies I have at auto as well. I think that's fine. You just get the lowest score on your bench, sub in.
I like selectable per position.
Okay, I'm happy to go for that actually. How many do you usually have?
It depends. Like because we also have a bigger bench, so it makes sense for us. We usually just do one per position.
Well, this one we have a smaller bench, so we'll just do auto for this one. Smaller
Yeah.
bench.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Keeper league, yes. Allow keeper league to continue trading postseason. Do you say yes to this? I usually say no to this.
I keep it on, yes, but you can change that mid-season anyway.
Okay, cool. Trade waiver, yes, obviously. Waiver time period, do you say 1 or 2 days? I usually say 2. Give people some time to look at it.
It's usually becomes Tuesday 4 a.m.
Yep, I go reverse ladder always. Give the benefit to the dude on the bottom of the ladder to try and build his way back up. Commission can change waiver. I'll just say yes, just because there might be a crazy scenario where it might be applicable, but let's just assume it's not. Team to team trade, league approved. I go commissioner approved. So I'm big on having absolutely no waivers whatsoever, and you live by the sword, die by the sword. Like, unless you really think, unless you think there's genuine collusion going on, in which it should be called out and that person should be kicked anyway. And I don't expect people to have dishonest people like that anyway, which is, that's just crazy to think that would even happen. We're all mature fucking grown-ups. I just think if you make a trade, then too bad. You can't just have people from the league be like, actually no, we're going to save you on this one. You've made that trade. You should be doing your background checks. You should be doing your research all before you hear the reaction of the league. You can go ask people. You can go ask advice from other people. You can ask us. You can ask advice from anyone out there. So source your own advice. Figure your stuff out. You don't get a safety net with me. That's how I roll. But
no, I reckon as well. Go for it.
Then we'll go 14 on the retain. We're going to continue to step 5. All right. At this point, wait. Should I put you in this?
Yeah, I mean that's what I was gonna say.
We're gonna get you in this league. Imagine if this is the JB and Lathas.
I do have there's like a 5-second delay. We were talking about this before. Like we wouldn't have stream snipers anyway. Here we are.
Might. Yeah, we genuinely might. Right, let's look at these next couple of picks. So Oliver went, Luke Jackson went, Max Holmes went. Wooshka is on the clock, and Chad Warner is still available. Can you believe it? I can. You can't. All right. So are you ready to rapid fire this in?
All right. Let's go here.
Should I read it out to you? Because you're gonna hear my voice before you see it on the stream, surely.
Yeah.
Okay, we're actually doing this. Let's go.
This is crazy. This is not what we planned, guys. But
this is absolutely not what we planned. But Azza keeps asking for it, so if you want to be involved, get in. All right. The league code is. Oh no, where is it? I'll take me this one. 877. Yep. 082. Tell me you get in.
Oh no, I gotta put team name in.
The Lathas is probably an easy one.
The fact that I didn't have that preloaded. It's loading. I think I'm coming in. I'm in. Nice.
Oh, we got Lathas who in there. That's probably Azza, I assume. All right, let's get some entrants in this stuff. Let's get that rolling. That's a bit of fun. Chad Warner went in this other one to Wooshka, who I know isn't listening, so that's pretty cool. He sniped him anyways. And let's see if we can get this filled up. 5 entrants. What is it again? It's 877082. I'll put it in the chat. Anyone interested in doing another one? Why not? 6 entrants are in. We're halfway filled.
I'm gonna have so many keeper leagues to keep up with now.
I know. Yeah, same with me. But honestly, I love them so much that it doesn't even bother me.
100%.
So we got 6 in, 7 in. We got Marcus, I Dream of Heaney, Feist Flyers, Sloots and Boots from Jason. Love that. I love that we're seeing different names in here as well. There are still 24 viewers, and now we have 8 entrants. Let's see if we can get the last 4. Do I have to change this time?
I'm just taking Will Ashcroft in my other draft.
Will Ashcroft, yeah, I think that's probably who you should have taken instead of Warner, but...
I knew I had back-to-back picks, so...
Lovely. I'll go 10:30.
Mate.
Oh, no,
all right, well, this is what happens when you watch us live. Who knows what's going to happen? So
Very true.
get on if you're watching this, listening to this back, watching this back. Try and get on the lives if you can. I know this one was a little later than usual. We'll try and start earlier in the night, but a big part of this as well is the fact that we're going to be talking about those waiver selections. And as we said, we have it set for 2 days for us, but some others do one. So if you have it set for 2 days, if a game finishes on Sunday afternoon, then you have it until Tuesday at 4 a.m. If you do 1 day, it's Monday 4 a.m. So if you've got a 1 day, we're going to try and do this live stream on the day that the last game of the round happens, or Sunday night. I guess we haven't fully decided that yet. But meaning that way, if you get on live on the Sunday night and listen to us, you've still got time to chuck in your waiver selections based on what we say, even if it's a Monday morning open for you.
Yep, absolutely. All right, I've got the order here. This starts in 7 minutes. We're going to rapid fire as quickly as we can through this, just because it's a bit of fun. This is the only keeper league that you and I are in, so this is going to be a bit competitive.
True.
We're going to be obviously tracking this during the season. We do plan on, like you said, doing this every Sunday, so it's going to be fun. We can go through the results, look at the waiver wire ourselves, and yeah, it's just going to be a bit of fun. The draft order I did not change. Wait, can I still change that? Oh, someone dropped out. Oh, someone dropped out. All right, we need another 12 player.
There's still time. Who else is going to
they'll
jump
come
in?
back in. All right, they'll come back in. So I'm going to randomize this order. How many? Can I get some numbers in the chat, and I'll pick one by random as to how many times we'll randomize this. AFL Doodles is in. That's awesome. All right, someone check.
We can't see that super well. If you can you scroll up a little higher? Is that possible?
No, literally this is as long as I can go.
Okay, that's fine.
That's right. I'll broadcast that. I'll read them out. As there said 5 in there, so I'm going to click 5 times. So you're going to see me click 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You're on top. We're going for another one.
You are literally on top.
Let's go, baby.
All right, so we've got Lathaz with pick 1, AFL Doodles pick 2, Azza with pick 3. I've got pick 4. Peter Chad's Perth Warner. Mansion. He gets pick 5. Pick 6, Doug's Diamonds, Matt. Pick 7, Salutes and Boots. Pick 5, JV, I assume, 5 Flyers. Pick 9, we got Bell's Big Boys. I Dream of Heaney, pick 10. Webdog, pick 11. And Step Butters, Josh, is pick 12 here. So we start in 6 minutes, lads. You are committed now. You've got your picks. Do not back out now, you psychos. That would be really disrespectful. But we're just going to drive. We're just going to go off the cuff, 30-second limit. Try and get through as many as we can tonight. And then I might pause it or something like that. And then change it to unlimited picks. And we can take it back up tomorrow if we run out of time tonight. But, I mean, I'm chilling. I'm usually up until midnight anyway, so that's you know.
I'm the same.
Yeah, so we're both psychos, but we'll get to a point where you just have to say in the chat that you opt out now, and we'll pause the draft and we'll do the rest of it with no time limit and just finish that off as we go along. So
I've just so you know, I've preloaded Chad Warner as my number 1 selection, just so you can start to figure out what's next.
Yeah, so everyone figure out who you're taking with the next one. I guess that makes sense.
Yep.
Jacob Hopper just went, and Lawson Humphreys went in my other draft, my redraft. Lawson Humphreys went pick 17, and I was weighing up whether to take him or Joel Frazier. So I hope that's not one that weighs on me for the rest of the season. Our draft JV has not had any extra selections, so we're still on the commissioner. And like you say, that green light is not going to get any greener. Sorry, what were you going to say there?
I don't even remember. Doesn't matter. It's fine.
You jumped in like you had something really important for us, but then nothing.
It was so important in the moment, but then it lost importance
moments
after 3 seconds. So
yep, that tracks.
Looking forward to this. So what we got? 5 minutes until draft time. Is that right? 4 minutes.
4 minutes 24 seconds.
Okay. Well,
it's kind of outrageous. How much? I'm curious. How much study do you do before a draft? Do you really dive into it, or is you sort of vibing it?
Definitely. So I definitely usually do a lot of study before the draft, personally. But I haven't. This league that I just done. I mean, it kind of makes sense with the Warner selection. I'm just vibing that one. I just didn't get a chance. I only joined that league as of like yesterday. I just haven't had a chance with trying to figure out this and everything. But usually I put pretty good research into it, and I don't quite have a full draft board. Like, I know a lot of people do this. It's not really for me. I usually will. I don't like doing it on the Supercoach website in general. So usually I'll just have a spreadsheet going, and then I would just mark off when people have been selected. So that way, it just like automatically filters them away.
Yep.
But I usually would have the top 50 to 100 sort of mapped out, and then after that, I've got a list of guys that I know will slip later in the draft, and so I just kind of have them all there in an order that I'm interested in.
Yep.
And I try and pick
I think
up
that's
as many
good.
of them as I can. Yeah.
Matt Rao went next in my first-time keeper over here. Picked 35 to the Melbourne Demons, which is commissioner. GWS, which is Bell, is back on the clock, and he's taking his sweet time. I'm on in 2 picks. I have done zero research into who I'm taking next. So I need to consult my spreadsheet here. I'm not going to say it out loud because that would be very silly of me. But another thing I was going to ask you actually is, like, looking at this draft right now, I've got 2 forwards and a midfielder. Obviously, no one in defense, no one in the ruck yet. How much attention do you pay towards actually filling out your team evenly, or is it always just best value, best value, best value?
I would say generally I do best value, but it kind of depends on certain things when it comes to the ruck.
Yep.
And I did some maths on this a little bit as well. Well, let me talk about the ruck point first. So for rucks, if as we say, there's 1 ruck, then I think that if you've missed the top 4 to 5 rucks,
yep,
then I think it makes sense to just not go for a ruck until like in your pick 80-ish sort of mark.
Yep.
Because the other guys are going to pick up some of those other rucks, but there's not really that much of a difference between picks like 6 and 12 anyway.
Yep.
If you're somebody who did pick a ruck early and you've got like a flex spot, then you could definitely go for a second ruck early to
try and put pressure on. Yep, I agree.
Yeah. But usually, if I don't get the ruck that I want early, I'm just going to leave that position unfilled for quite a while. But in terms of the other positions, I did some maths a couple of years ago, and I'd have to do it again. I haven't done it for this season, but I tried to have a look at what the difference was between the top scorers in that line and scorers that are kind of like, let's say, pick 50 in that line, and tried to work out which ones had the biggest differential. So was the let's say like the 10th pick in the defenders was like, I don't know, 100 flat, let's say, but then the 50th pick in defenders was like 85. So it's a 15-point gap there.
Yeah.
Whereas if I went to the forward line and I went the top 10, might have been like 100-ish there even.
So you try not to get stuck with, the low end of that.
Yeah, like, and that's if you're going mathematical on it. I don't think, but yeah, usually I just kind of go with best available, and I figure that I can at least use them for trades if I need to, if I don't really want them.
Yep. All right, well, we got 20 seconds here. I'm going to check in on this other one to make sure I'm not holding anyone up. I'm not. I'm going to check on my other one to make sure I'm not holding anyone up there, because I'm not in 1 pick. I don't think I am. Nope. And we're up.
Because I'm so good at this. I almost think that I should just I should just pick.
No. Pick genuine, because we're going to refer back to this.
Nah,
we're going to refer
I'm joking,
to
of
this.
course. I'm picking Nick Dacos. He is my first selection.
Boo. I will just say as well, if you are in this draft, I mean, we're going to be giving live comms on who goes where and live reactions, which is kind of fun. If you are in this draft, though, whether you're watching and you follow through Twitter or whether you follow through Slack or whatever it actually is, do reach out to me, and we'll do like a Discord or something, or some way that we can all communicate, because at the very least, although it's mostly just for content purposes, we'll see how well we can run it for the year, and then we'll decide whether we keep going with this one, or if we keep making new ones every year to just keep the actual novelty of doing a draft live and getting live reactions and such. So but we'll at least get everyone in the chat. We'll do some trades, do some waiver stuff, which will be a lot of fun. So I forgot that it gives you this 2-minute starting thing. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah. Well, now the cat's out of the bag. Everyone knows I'm going Nick Dacos. Like, come on, thanks, JB.
Oh no! So the next 2 picks.
Sneak, but
The next 2 picks that went in this other one were Will Day and Dylan Moore, and both of them were the 2 that I highlighted that I wanted to survive to me. So whoever took those 2, that's very, very inconvenient, very upsetting, very annoying.
Are you sure you're not sharing your spreadsheet on stream? Maybe that's what's happened there.
Am I? No, I'm not, but
Nah,
I
you're not.
wish I was now. It would make a lot more sense as to why everyone's snaking me. Well, that puts me in a bit of a position, doesn't it? Because I don't really now know where to go. Because I like to think of I'm going to have this guy, and then I'm going to have this guy as the backup, and now I don't have any guy or any guy as the backup.
I'm
Will Day
curious
pick's very good.
In this league we're about to start, I'm curious to see, who goes for the win now strategy, who decides to play for the younger guys. It's going to be. I'm curious to see who that will be. I'm actually.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked to see who else is in this league yet.
Well, you can.
Not that I know most of these names anyway.
Can I have some help here? I don't know who I'm selecting here.
I'd look. It's probably worth looking at your defense. You don't have a pick there. Is there any good defenders?
There are good defenders, but I think they're going to come around. All of them. Every single one of them is going to come around. There's going to be a million good defenders come around. Well, this is mightily upsetting. I'm actually a little bit rattled. I don't usually get rattled in the drafts because I have like backups to my backups to my backups.
Jay Bing is saying Bergman. You wouldn't do it.
Oh god, I want to do it so bad, but I'm not. I'm not gonna.
He'll go too high in that draft anyway. All right, our draft has started. Nick Dacos.
Started?
Selected.
Dacos gone.
I haven't got him in any keeper leagues, so that is very exciting to me.
I'm excited that you're excited.
Thanks, man. What pick did you have? Pick 4, is that what you said?
Yep, Doodles is gone. Harry Sheasel, now it's
Jesus.
Azza. Horn Francis, you little snake. Alright, on this one.
He's done that just to spite you as well.
He has. I'm not going to let Zach Butters slip on this one. I'll go Zach Butters on this one. Now I need to make a decision on this other one. this one's got me rent free at the moment. You can call out live what's going on in our one there.
Yeah, I just gotta set up my screens here. So no one has gone yet after Zach Butters. Got Caleb Sarong has just gone through as pick number 5.
Lovely. I think that's obvious.
So far, it's all. I feel like it's going to plan.
It's going to
But
my
I think-
plan. This was like my top 10. People listen.
I think it's one of those things that there probably will be a bit of. If people have been in here listening, Tristan Cherry goes to pick 6.
Nice.
I think people who have been here this whole time have been listening. I think there's a good chance that they, they'll kind of pick some of the people we've spoken about. But I'm curious. I want to see which is going to be the first big surprise that we get. It's good to see green dots on everybody who's drafted.
Yeah, I know. It would be because it's going to move rapidly.
All right, Tom Green.
Tom
at pick
Green,
7.
okay. See, earlier than what I have on my board, but like people just have a lot of love for him, and I get it,
Yep.
but it's just earlier than what I have him.
Bont, pick 8. Yep, fair enough.
Yeah, very nice. That's about where I have him in mind.
You can't go wrong with most of these selections.
No, and that's what I'm saying as well. Even if you go 4 or 5 picks too early in terms of value, you're still getting, a really good guy. It's only if you go like 5 rounds too early where it's like, oh wow, now your next few picks need to be very good. God, I really don't know who to take next here.
Is this league? Have you got a certain strategy you're trying in this league?
No, I really just go with the flow with my leagues. Like I'm not phased. I can go with any certain, like wherever my team takes me, that sort of thing. Like I don't go in with a preconceived idea of doing something or the other sort of thing.
That's a few moves go. Andrew Brayshaw, pick 9.
Yep.
Pick 10, LDU. Pick 11,
Nice.
Sam Flanders.
Nice. I have LDU above Brayshaw personally, but I understand it.
Yeah, there's something about Brayshaw that I don't love him. I do I think he's definitely a good pick, but I don't know what it is. I think it's just the fact that he always seems to be peppering the same kind of 110 average, which is great, but he doesn't seem to have that like 120 upside. But I could be wrong about that.
I think he just needs to put a full season together, which he hasn't done yet. I just took Levi Ashcroft in my draft.
Nice. Which is
I
someone that probably doesn't score you. He's not going to be averaging 100 this season.
No,
Maybe
no.
He might.
I've got him for
the
like
right role,
70, 75 at best.
Yeah. But he's an absolute jet, right? We've all
And,
heard that.
you know,
Max,
all
Max
reports
Gorn
of
at
that
pick
is...
14.
Max
What do you think,
Gorn.
Web Dog?
They love him. Nah, auto
I think
pick.
Web Dog said... Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah,
it
time
was.
expired.
Oh, rough, Web Dog. So we also had Noah Anderson go, Sam Walsh go, and now Errol Goulden pick 15. It's coming back up to you again soon, JB. You're 5 picks away.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm 5 picks away. I got you. I gotta consult my board again. Errol Goulden. Someone's just getting taken. Zach Merritt. Okay. I'm consulting my top 10 from earlier. Caleb Bloomer has just subscribed. Appreciate you, man.
If you want to get ahead of JB here, go back to earlier in the stream. You can find his top 10 again if you didn't write it
down. Isaac Rankin as well.
Rankin, there you go. So yeah, this is the thing. So in one of my leagues, I went really hard on forwards. That's what I was kind of saying earlier about the idea of like the differential between.
I was hoping Will Ashcroft would slip more.
Will Ashcroft. I was thinking to go for him as well.
Oh, he wasn't going to make it to you, mate.
But nice. No. But yeah, so I found that the biggest differential between like one of the top forwards and the last forward that would be on my field was the biggest differential. And so I was like, I didn't go full send on forwards, but I did definitely pick the forwards before I ended up filling up the other lines. I still took best available, but I just knew that if I didn't know, Clayton Oliver could pick 20.
I'm going to get the guy that I gave away earlier.
Jordan Dawson at 19.
Harley Reid here.
Nice.
I lost him earlier, so I got to make up for it.
I've got Nick Dacos, so not much can go wrong.
No, you're pretty well set.
I'm going Chad Warner.
I pray as it takes him now. That would be the best.
Come on, Aaron. Take Chad Warner. Pick 22.
Bell, this is stress. I agree. This is crazy, and this is stress. Who went Dunkley? Lovely.
That was Azza.
I know Az is taking it seriously as well. That man knows no second gear.
Definitely.
Had Reed in the gun. Cop that.
Mate, I don't know who I'm going here. Tom De Koning. Do I go a ruck? Let's see. Let's have a quick look at the ruck list. I think the main ones have already gone, right? There's Cherry's already gone. Oh no, dude, this is not enough time.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm going Heaney. I don't love that selection, but hopefully he's got a few more good years.
Yep, you would want to hope so.
Got rushed in. I need to start moving a few guys up the draft board here.
Yeah, see, I'm not at all. This is where I'm going wrong. This is insane, actually. This is arguably not enough time.
Wait,
yeah.
Oh no, it's my pick again now. Oh,
yeah,
no.
it is. 3, 2, 1.
4 seconds?
Yeah.
Wait, don't I just... Oh no. Oh, who am I taking?
You got Lockie Neal.
No. Dude, those picks... Oh, because I was pick 1, of course.
You get the back-to-backs, you peanut.
Oh, no.
I was like, he's moving things up his draft board. That's fine. He's chilling.
No, I was preparing for the next 22 picks ahead.
You absolute peanut. Well, now you can chill. Now you can wait. AFL Doodles, they're on the clock. They've made one. Jordan Clark, love it. Oh boy, this actually is high octane, isn't it? It's stressful.
Oh, dude.
Some idiots will do
I guess
Lockie Neal, though.
I'm suddenly in win now mode, I think.
Yeah, very much so. I kind of like this whole no thinking about it, just do it sort of thing. I'll just take Dylan Moore here. Much prefer him to Lockie Neal.
Yep. That's fair. Look, nobody said anything in the chat, so I can't believe it.
Everyone's
I think it's just all
focused,
the
man.
people-
It's moving so
Yeah,
quickly.
that's right.
Nick Martin goes. Interesting. I have to do my lean forward. Like I really start trying. This is fun though. Like even if we sort of ghost ship this league, like we don't really pay heaps of attention to it. I think looking back on this draft is going to be educational. As they're saying, they do not have time to chat. No one's got time to chat. Now we're
Nick
moving
Martin,
fast. Colby
Connor Rosie.
McKercher, Connor Rosie,
Colby
lovely,
McKercher.
lovely.
Yeah, so I wonder, is this... We've had Colby McKercher go. We've had Will Ashcroft go.
Yep.
So there's a few of these younger guys have already been put down.
Will
Harley Reid,
Dixon,
obviously.
new sub. I hate to cut you off, but I will for Will. Anytime Will subs, we have to just... It's got to be
Chad
said.
Warner, my boy, at pick 33.
That's a reach. That's about 15 picks too early. You actually went in pick 11 in a fresh keeper.
Yep.
That's crazy. It's just a bad pick,
Beautiful.
isn't it?
Yeah, look, I probably would have changed it, but being on a stream...
Oh, you got the
Gotta lock it
pressure. Oh, is WebDog actually going to make his pick this time?
So Houston went as well.
Yep, I did
Not-
see
not
that.
Yeah, Hayden
He
Young.
did. Will Day. Lovely, lovely.
There's going to be some absolute gems in here with how quick this is going.
Yeah, I know. And I'm trying to find them and I see no one that gets to my pick and I'm like, shit. I'll just scroll through. Everyone can just watch my stream now. I'll just scroll through and you can just snipe them from there. Max Holmes just got taken. I just stopped on his name for a second as well. Who's gone now?
Man, this is one thing I like about this is that doing keep leagues, it also means that I think it makes you play better in classic, and I think it also works vice versa too.
Yep.
Because, like I found in one of my keeper leagues, I managed to pick up some of the guys who I knew were being, high chance that they're going to be traded. So I managed to get Perryman. Who's the guy that went to Adelaide this year?
Peatling.
Peatling, managed to get him as well. My brain is absolutely scrambled right now. But the guy went to West Coast from Richmond. What's his name again?
Baker, Liam Baker.
No, not him. The other one.
What?
Anyway.
How's the Graham?
Graham, yeah. So I managed to get all of those guys in my keeper league. And so
Wet
going
Dog
into
auto
this year,
selected Luke Ryan, who I wanted to pick. God damn it.
Lloyd Meek goes. Jordan
Yep.
Ridley. Yeah,
We're
so
already
we've
in the
got some of
40s.
The top rucks have already gone.
This is
Other rucks that I
rapid.
think could still be considered. I mean, Rowan Marshall. How old is Rowan Marshall these days?
29.
29. Yep. We've had another
Sean
ruck go. Did we?
Darcy. Yeah.
Yep. I've got people thinking
Young
about it now.
Darcy. Yeah,
This
now
is
you've
good.
started
This
a ruck run,
plays in
haven't
my
you?
plans.
Tim
Yeah,
English, here it
plays in my
is. Here's the ruck run.
Here we
Every
go.
draft has a bit of a ruck run. Here's ours.
Who's taking Ned Moyle next?
Ned Moyle, not me. Unless he gets to my pick. I don't even know who I want. Who's that? Matt Rowe's gone. I'll just take Lockie Whitfield.
Oh, you're joking. I was literally about to take him as well.
Well,
Only because it's play now for me at the moment. Win now. That's
you
what I
can
mean.
you can trade for him if you want.
Nah, stuff that.
You don't want to enter the trade negotiations with me.
Not yet.
Okay, fair enough.
That would be my very last option.
I feel like we'll get a good idea here from the first. If we do the first 10 rounds and call it a stream, I think we can get a good idea here. Where this is chaos.
Oh, you're kidding! I was about to take Ed Richards.
But they got auto
No
selected.
way.
All right, I think take your pick here. I think take your pick and then we'll pause it.
All right. Oh man, that screwed me. I had
You
that
still
one
have to
locked
pick
in.
within 10 seconds.
Yeah, I know. All right.
All right, let's hit pause for now. All right, I think who'd you take, Jackson Clare? I love the Finn Callahan pick from Doodles there. That's an unreal pick. All right, I think I have to leave it here. I'm the one that's going to be calling it quits. That was a fun exercise. Look, I want to. Well, look, we're going to reconvene next Sunday after round 0. Talk about some waiver picks. We're going to finish this draft during the week. I'll just leave it on no time limit. I'll do that now actually. We'll just put it to no time limit. You can just make your picks whenever. Wherever I can do that. Where is it? My league maybe.
I hope you can. I don't even know if you can change this, but
I'm certain you can. Unless I'm absolutely wrong. I thought you could change all that stuff leading up to it, or like as in during. Oh no, maybe you can't.
Anyone thinks you can. I don't think you can.
Right. Well,
I think we're just sending it, dude. There's no way you're calling it quits here.
I have to. Jace Clark, that was exhausting. It was exhausting. I think I'm just going to leave it paused, and we can go back and talk about these first few rounds in the next one, in the next thing anyway. So we're not going to run the league. We're not going to run the league properly. It's not going to be an actual league that we're going to pay attention to. But yeah, we'll leave it here, and we'll screen grab this, and it can be a discussion point for an actual draft because it's you and I were involved in it. We drafted seriously. It can be a discussion point next week when we're talking about who goes where and for what reason. We've been streaming now for coming up to 2 hours, so I think that's a pretty good shift for us. Yeah, I think we call it. Are you comfortable there?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely follow us here on YouTube and on Twitch. We are streaming on both, so if you prefer one over the other, go for that.
Yep.
I am going to try and get this up as a podcast episode as well.
Yep.
And so you can hopefully listen to that back if you prefer to do that. You can, if you are, I mean, it's too late now. You've probably gone through it, but you can skip through the part where I wasn't on there for 5 minutes.
No. It's all part of the experience. You got to listen to it all.
But yeah, like I'm super excited for this. I've always, because I love Keeper League so much. Obviously, we've talked about it a lot, but having hopefully a bunch of people now that are going to be really interested in it as well, and we can all talk about it. Yeah, just so keen. This is going to be good fun. So
yeah,
let us know what you want as well out of this. If there's anything that you think that we haven't mentioned tonight that you think you'd like to see, definitely send it through.
Got a follow from MJ Cobber. Just appreciate everyone tuning in. We're gonna do this consistently, so hopefully we build up a Sunday Arvo audience. We can discuss the round that actually just happened, but we're going to be, if you follow us on Patreon, you're going to be getting that from probably Pistol and I, or Chizo and I, or Chizo and Pistol. Anyway, in regards to actual classic Supercoach, but you and I will be talking about the round that was in regards to the waivers, in regards to some potential trade opportunities, and essentially just going through, hopefully getting some examples from you guys as well in the chat as to what you're weighing up, what conundrums you guys have, and we can get through another. This is probably going to be potentially going to be our longest stream that we do for the year, but it was a pretty awesome first stream. I'm going to finish this by taking my next pick in this other draft that I'm in. I'm just going to lock in Luke Ryan there, 29-year-old. Pretty happy with that. Just as someone who's going to be a mainstay in the defense for at least another couple of years, I'd say. And yeah, I think that's where we call it. So yeah, I appreciate you jumping on with me. You're going to be on every week. You are the mainstay as well. So appreciate everyone just tuning in, I guess. Yeah, it's awesome. We had 30 viewers the entire time. We're hoping to build up on that going forward. So to the 30 that we hear from day one, you can say you're here from day one, and we'll get you guys coming in consistently every Sunday. So appreciate you guys, and yeah, we'll tune out. Ciao.
Thanks everyone. See ya.